drive a modern, I don't know, GTI or Astra OPC, and I mean, you don't really have a smile on your face, you know? You're like serious, you're like, I'm all serious, and my DSG gearbox and my flappy paddles and my fart noises, it's a serious face. But I mean, I am getting so much joy out of driving this car. Because I mean, the power outputs of this car, by today's standards, 125 kilowatts in here, 228 Newton meters. Back in the day, that was a lot, and this car weighs under a ton, 966 kgs dry weight. So power to weight ratio is good, really good in here. When it came out, it had the highest torque per liter ratio in the world of naturally aspirated engines, at 114 Newton meters per liter. And it was only beaten in 2009, 19 years later, by a Ferrari. So this was a very special motor.
And I wasted no time pushing that motor to its 7,000 RPM red line.
This is fantastic. 6,000 RPM, 6.5, 140 km an hour, snatch fourth. Let's see how fast we get on this back straight. 170, 180. Nice under braking. Honestly, if I was watching this right now, I would be jealous of myself. I hope you are living vicariously through me, through this experience, because this is just absolutely wonderful. Cars just do not feel like this anymore. Right, this is the engine bay of the Cars.co.za Superboss, and as you can see, it's quite neat. It actually brings a bit of a tear to my eye. This is the original motor. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder 16 valve. It had the nickname of the Red Top for quite obvious reasons, and it was a very tunable motor. And for the Superboss, they changed the cam. It's a 276-degree Schrick cam. Other modifications they made was a K&N race filter with a bigger snorkel, so more air going in. And then to get the air out again, there is a 4-into-1 right off the side of the engine block, which goes all the way down to the knuckle. It's actually really low. It pretty much scrapes on everything. Creates sparks. It's very exciting. But if you actually take a closer look at this particular car, we had this fully restored by a Superboss specialist, and the attention to detail is just beautiful. He has all of these little warning labels and stickers done custom so that it looks exactly as it did when it was made in 1992. And the coolest thing about this engine and this setup, this particular setup, is that this is the engine that went racing. The reason the Superboss exists is because to qualify for Group N racing, they had to make 500 road-going Superbosses. So this is not one of those cases where they built the car and then made the race car. They built the race car and then made the road car.
Yep, the Opel racing team fitted a roll cage, a fire extinguisher and a kill switch and began to dominate the local racing scene.
I mean, the story of this car, the more you dig into it, the more interesting it becomes. You know, in 1990, a couple of days after when I'm filming this right now, on the 7th of July, 30 years ago, exactly 30 years ago, Mike Briggs, the racing legend who won multiple championships in this car, he took it out for the first time. But they couldn't go racing in 1990 because they hadn't built 500 homologation road-going units yet. And so they only got onto the track officially in 1991. And then the Superboss, in the hands of Mike Briggs, went on to win 3 championships in a row, absolutely sticking it to the more powerful larger engine BMW 325i, which this car was designed to challenge. That diff is so impressive. You can get on the power so early out of the corner and it just grips and goes. Oh my word, this thing is an absolute joy to drive. Woo! That is a lot of fun. Second gear, let's feel that diff working. 6,500 RPM. Third gear, 120, 6,000 RPM. Hard on the brakes for the first corner. Down into third. So grippy. What a wonderful little thing this is. Sitting in the Superboss is a lot like time traveling. I think because it's been restored so beautifully, it kind of messes with your mind a bit because it looks old, but at the same time, it looks new. But let me take you through all the features in here. That's a clock, there's a steering wheel. This is where you turn on the fan. A cigarette lighter from a time when driving was more dangerous than smoking. And down here, the youth watching probably won't know what these are, but you push that out and this is a little tray for a cassette tape. It's pretty cool, but it's a bit useless because to really get this car's weight down, they stripped out the radio and the aircon. So I don't know why they left those in. But yeah, other than that, there's no reverse camera.
But cassette trays were just a cheeky way to make the Superboss seem like a road car. The reality is that this was a race car. There were only about 500 of these ever made, and by our experts' calculations, there are only about 90 left. The rest have been modified to ruin, or more likely, written off. When we found our Superboss, it was in terrible shape. Over the last 3 years, every detail has been painstakingly restored, from the air vents where the fog lights should be diverting cool air to the brakes, to the now iconic black alloy wheels, and the only spoiler I think I've ever really liked on a car. The Kadett Superboss is now an extremely rare car, a South African special that South Africa can be proud of.
God, I'm getting a little bit emotional. You know, I don't consider myself a massive petrol head, but when you get to experience something like this, there's something so joyous about a car like this. And you know, when we embarked on the SentiMetal project at Cars.co.za, the idea was to build up a heritage fleet of South African specials, and this was project car number 1. So it'll always have a special place in all of our hearts, but I don't think I realized before today just how special this car is. I sort of get the whole point of vintage cars, classic cars, restoring old rust buckets to their former glory. This is just about joy, pure joy. And you know, it's not the most convenient car to drive. You have to let it warm up for ages, and it's pretty bumpy over anything but perfect surfaces, and the lack of power steering is terrible around town, and it's difficult to park. But you get it out here to somewhere like this where you've got the freedom to stretch its legs, and very, very few modern cars, if any, can provide this level of joy. am one thoroughly satisfied customer. So proud to be a part of this company and have the opportunity to look after South Africa's motoring heritage like this and experience it and bring it to you guys, our audience. What a wonderful opportunity. All right, let's take her home.
Did you know that we also sell really awesome car-themed merchandise? Check out our range of custom t-shirts and prints at our online store now. Simply click on the square box on your screen and we'll take you there, or the link is in the description below. Thanks for watching.